Here's a new kind of problem. It tells about start and end. A truck started out with 290 packages. The truck dropped off 54 packages. How many packages ended up on the truck? The truck dropped off packages, so we know that that is the big number, the number that they started with, since they're going to be getting rid of packages. So the problem gives us the big number, okay? So I'm going to make my arrow, and I know the big number is 290. We know that it dropped off 54 packages, so one of the small numbers is 54, and we are not sure how many are left. So in order to do this, we work backwards, since 290 is our large number, and it'd be 290 minus 54. So 0 minus 4, I cannot take 4 away from 0, so I borrow 10 from my 9, and that becomes 8 or 80, and I put my 10 over here, so 10 minus 4 is 6, 8 minus 5 is 3, and 2 minus nothing is 2. So there's 236 packages on the truck. When you're watching this video, I would pause it here and there to take your notes. Now here's another type of problem. A truck started out with some packages. The truck dropped off 61 packages. The truck ended up with 33 packages. How many packages did the truck start out with? So we know that the truck started out with some packages, but it also dropped off some packages. So what is the big number? It is the packages that it started out with, which is in this case some packages. We don't really know. We do know, however, how many packages the truck dropped off. It dropped off 61 packages, and then it was left with 33. So we know these two numbers combine to make our big number. So how do we solve this to figure out the starting point, or how many packages they had? We need to add 61 plus 33, and that equals 3 plus 1 is 4, and 6 plus 3 is 9. So 94 packages. Let's look at this last problem. A truck started out with some packages. The truck picked up 96 packages. It ended up with 146 packages. How many packages did the truck start off with? So in this situation, the truck is picking up packages. So the big number is going to be the end number, since it's picking up more packages. So when it said that the truck started out with some packages, and then it picked up 96 packages and ended with 146. Since it's picking them up, we know our big number is what it ended with. And that was 146 packages. We know that it picked up 96, but we're not sure what it started with. Now that we've set up our numbers, and we know that our ending number is our large number, we can go ahead and solve to figure out how many we started with. So we have 146 minus 96. 6 minus 6 is 0. 4 minus 9, I cannot take 9 away from 4, so I'm going to have to borrow. Comes 14. 14 minus 9 is 3. So it started with 30 packages. These are problems that have two letters. The first problem says 2/3 J equals P, but it also says that J equals 12. So we are going to rewrite the equation with the number for J. So we know that J is equal to 12. So we are going to substitute 12 in for J. So instead of this being 2/3 J equals P, we can write this as 2/3 12 equals P. And now that we have 12 in our equation, we can solve for P. So 2/3 times 12 equals P. And we go ahead and we multiply across. 2 times 12 is 24, and 3 times 1 is 3. So 24/3 equals P. Remember that we can read fraction as division problems. So 24/3 is 24 divided by 3, which equals 8. So P equals 8. Let's go ahead and try the next one. Again, we have 7/8 B equals R. There are 2 letters in our equation. Now, because we know what R is equal to, we can substitute that in for R. So R in this situation is equal to 42. So I'm going to rewrite my problem using the number for R. So 7/8 B is equal to 42. Now, if I want to solve this problem, I need to get B on one side of the equation by itself. In order to do that, I must multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 7/8. So I have 8/7 and 8/7. So I'll multiply both of those. 8/7 times 7/8, that crosses off, and that equals 1B. And now I'm left with 1B equals 42 times 8/7. Well, if I have 1B, I can simply call that B, and I can go ahead and solve. 42 times 8 equals 336. And 1 times 7 equals 7. Now, I have 336/7 is equal to B. Again, I can rewrite my fractions as division problems. So 33 divided by 7, 336, and 36 divided by 7 is equal to 48. So B equals 48. The first column in this table shows a number. The second shows how many tens the number rounds to. To figure out that number, you first have to round the number to the closest 10. So for example, the first thing we do is we take 78 and we round it to the closest 10. Well, I look at my tens place, which is 7. I look to the right, it's more than 5. So this is going to grow and become 80. How many tens are there in 80? I simply look at my tens place and I see 8, so there are 8 tens. So 78 rounds to how many tens? That would be 8. Let's try the next one. We have 123. The first thing I need to do is round the number to the nearest 10. I find my tens place, I look to the right. If it's 5 or more, it grows. In this situation, it's less than 5, so it stays the same and everything else becomes a 0. So I'm left with 120. How many tens are in 120? Well, I simply look at my tens place and to the left. So I can see here that there are 12 tens in 120. So 123 would round to 12 tens. Let's try my last one. I have 749. My first step is I round my number to the nearest 10. I find my tens place, I look to the right. I see that I look to the right of 4 and it's 9. Since it's more than 5, this 4 is going to grow and become a 5. So I'm left with 75, 0. So 750. How many tens is 750? Again, I look to the tens place and whatever else is to the left. So that would be 75. So 749 rounds to 750, which is 75 tens. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to look at a number using the 2, 3, or 5 rule to determine if it is prime. So if I look at this number, the first 24, the first thing I'm going to do is see if it is a multiple of 2. Now, the test for multiples of 2, if you look, it says Is the number even? If I look at 24, the last digit is an even number, so yes, it is even, so that means that it is divisible by 2, or it is a multiple of 2. The next one I'm going to do is my test for 3. So the test for 3 is the sum of its digits a multiple of 3? I'll go ahead and I'll check that. 2 plus 4 equals 6. Does 3 go into 6 evenly? Yes. Is 6 a multiple of 3? Yes. So we would go ahead and say that this number is divisible by 3 as well. And then the last thing we're going to do is we'll check for 5. I look at this, and my test for 5 is, does the number end in a 5 or a 0? The last digit, I look here, is this number a 5 or a 0? No, so it does not go into 5. Is this number prime? The answer would be no, because it is divisible by 2 and 3. In order to be prime, it only is divisible by 1 in itself. Let's try the next one. 40. The first thing I'm going to do is do my test for 2. Is the number even? Is the number even? Yes. It's 0, so it is a multiple of 2. Next, I'll do my test for 3, and here I add the sum of it, find the sum of its digits. 4 plus 0 equals 4. Is 4 a multiple of 3? No. So it is not divisible by 3. Next, I'll check 5. Does the number end in 5 or 0? Yes, 40 ends in 0. So it is a multiple of 5. Because 40 is a multiple of 2 and a multiple of 5, it is not prime. Let's try one more. Try 23. 2, 3. And prime. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, is the number even? Is this number even? No. It ends in a 3. That is odd. So it is not a multiple of 2. Next, I'll check 3 by finding the sum of its digits. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Is 5 a multiple of 3? No. So this would not be a 23 is not a multiple of 3. The last test I'm going to do is to see if it's a multiple of 5. Does the number end in 0 or 5? The answer is no. So it is not a multiple of 5. At this point, I'm going to then say, because this number is not a multiple of 2, not a multiple of 3, and not a multiple of 5, I'm going to call it prime.